Hello, people of the internet. Today, I will be attempting to build a rival to the Ford GT. We could use one of these bodies, if it ever loads, but that's very, very big. I prefer to take the smaller, lighter approach. Although when I tried before, it wasn't exactly lighter. But anyway, that's the kind of way I do things. This is an interesting body. My mind's just saying don't think for one moment you're going to build a GTR rival with this. Only it's not a GTR rival, it's a Ford rival for a Ford GT. But somehow my brain just doesn't work that out. I think I will use this actually. It's a very nice little car. I know this windscreen is going to look stupid, especially for something that's supposed to be a supercar, but we need visibility. We can have it sloped about there. Seems about right for this kind of vehicle. I like you to have a car you can see out of properly. Always a useful feature. Should we extend that backwards? Probably. I do have plans though. So this thing will be much more of a monster than it perhaps looks. That just looks crazy. Think about there, maybe? No. It makes me think of a frog for some reason. I don't know. I do like it as a little car though. Looks kind of like a mini Porsche Cayenne. And that just looks crazy when it's extended out that much. You can kind of turn it into a saloon. But we don't want that. We need it to be subtle. That's just how we design our cars. Subtle speed. It's actually a decent slogan. I think it's what Audi used to do, subtle speed. Anyone who's seen the B4, is it? B5, I think. Audi S4 will know that. They are just real sleepers. The only thing that gives them away is the wheels and perhaps the brakes. Now we can go with glued aluminium since it's limited production. Could go with carbon fibre, but I feel glued aluminium will be a little better for longevity than carbon. It's less likely to crack and stuff under pressure. Although carbon can be pretty good these days. Now, should we make it 2017? No, we'll beat them to market and make it better. Now we're going to have this weird longitudinal hatch thing. Just because. Double wishbones all round. I did attempt this before, but I think I can do better. So I'm trying to do better. Now this will be stupid. Looking with the massively flared arches. But then, boy will I be laughing when that GT is beaten. Last time I built something small with a kind of wide body on it, and it came only second to the Aerial Atom V8 on the Top Gear leaderboard, which was very impressive. Go with an aluminium body on here. I think we're going +3. No, it's a supercar. We need +7 for quality. It needs to be a very, very high quality machine of precision. Admittedly, I could probably do better, but still. We have to save money somehow. Could go with some fairly average looking lights here. Nothing too fancy. I'm not sure I like this. Too much weight over the rear. It's just something about the look of it is so off-putting to me. I have to choose a different body. I still want it to be practical though. I could do a key car. Probably wouldn't fit the engine I've got in mind though. Okay, what have we got here? We've got this kind of minivan thing. Yeah, we're not going to use this, just imagine that beating a Ford GT. Centre of gravity's too high really though. And this is really lagging. A Golf. This seems better proportioned. Oh, best of all. Oh yes, that's what we want. That's what we want to build our crazy hypercar like. So you can have a legitimate Group B style rally car. The fronts were flared too much though. Just then, so I changed that. Look at the madness of this though. Imagine this as a 4-seater. like more practical than a GT, but I kind of want it to be more of sleeper than that. As I said, subtle. Ooh, yes. Estates have better weight balance. Bring that back. We don't need masses of space for the engine I've got in mind. Bring this forwards. Bring this forwards. Bring this forwards. Yep, I've made everything more compact. It's got a lot of rear overhang as it is though, which is why I'm bringing the rear forwards a little. I could take it all back like that, but it just looks really odd. I don't like the plastic bumpers either, but as I said, subtlety. Could bring that back maybe, no. Can bring it down, but we don't need to. Needs to be kind of aggressive, but not too aggressive, and it's unsubtle. Double wishbones all round. I forgot to flare the archers. That can give us kind of a wider stance, make it quicker overall, but we want it to be subtle. I don't know. I need the tyres. Could have massively front biased tyres. That's not generally good for cornering speed though. I think 255s all round should be pretty decent. You know, I could flare the archers more and fit wider. Shouldn't need to though. I mean, those archers look crazy, but they are functional. The wider I can make the track, the lower the centre of gravity should be in comparison to that track, which is always useful. Now, it kind of says classic Volkswagen to me, and that bonnet's annoying me, it's just so low. There we go. Blocky cars are the best. I don't think I want any fancy chrome or anything. So what are these lights? I think they're kind of slightly modernised ones, are they? I don't know. They do look more modern than most round headlights. I'm not sure that's a good thing. Kind of look like mini lights even, off the new Mini. Not the old Mini. The old Mini was a great man, only it wasn't a man, it was a car. Okay, move these in a little more. I think I'm going for Mark 1 Golf / Dodge Charger whip-off style look, perhaps. If I can ever find the grills, which I hear. Come on! And we need to find the white grill, which seems to be hiding. Searching in the wilderness for it is what I do. There's one of them, but not the one I'm looking for. Here it is. Now we need something like kind of plain. Maybe this one. Yep. That's the one. It's got that kind of classic style to it, which I like. Or it goes out too far. Looks more like a Camaro than anything, I think. These lights don't look too bad here. Not as bad as I thought it would be with the grille behind them. And then maybe I could have some lights below those ones. Yeah, you turn off and it goes all mad. Right, we need some headlights again. I think we can have some down here. Come on. Plastic ones in this case would actually work with the nature of the vehicle, or we could go with body colour ones. But no, I think plastic works. You're going to need lots of lighting when you're going down that straight at like 250 miles per hour. Well, it won't do that kind of speed with the kind of area I've got planned, but still. What can I do for the lower grille kind of area? Because I'm probably not going to need more cooling than that, am I now? There is some more headlights I need to add. So what are these? These are ones I've got. I need some kind of more basic rally light style things, I think. Maybe these. Can I go with a set of these, I wonder? Just begins to look weird when I add more, doesn't it? Oh well. Where will my indicators go, though, I wonder? Difficult questions. I have kind of vague ideas, but it'll probably ruin the design, which I quite like at this point. It's just a kind of crazy estate car, but it doesn't look too crazy. Looks like a Mark 1 Golf, which is what I'm actually going for. Now we need a lip. Come on. Okay, so we can have this one, perhaps in body colour. No, it's too aggressive. Like with these flared arches, I guess, you could still easily mistake it for like a high performance front wheel drive variant. But would you ever guess this was a Ford GT rival? Probably not, even with the flared arches. Now badges, while I've clicked on this by accident, we need to tell everyone it's a dangerous car with our nuclear badge. Standard protocol in my business. Ah, don't mess with the grill, please. Had it lined up so perfectly, so if it was going to mess with it. I mean, that looks okay. It kind of blends in certain angles, but overall, I don't think it's too bad looking. Maybe, though, with it being quite a squared off bonnet. Badges. Come on, where are you? There we go. This surprise badge. Well, I've moved the wrong badge. Please tell me I've got the right thing, yeah. I don't know why automation has a habit of like making these really forwards. Kind of makes me think of a Mitsubishi actually, with that badge. Now we remove that one. Come on, where are you? Where are you hiding? Grab zone. There we go. There's like a point where it jumps. Try and get it just close to that point. I think that looks okay. There we go. We have to tell everyone it's dangerous and pretend we have class like Mercedes used to. I'm not sure about them though. Mercedes have always seemed to copy Volvo for design. Just my opinion. They like take a Volvo design and then make it better looking. I think they've been doing that for ages, but no one's noticed. Probably because they're better looking than Volvos, but still seems like they take a lot of design from them. It's like when Volvo were making bricks, Mercedes were making bricks. Even when Volvo became unreliable, Mercedes became unreliable too. Crazy stuff going on here. Lips. There we go. It just fits there below the lights. Would have thought I'd had more trouble there. Again, we want this to be mistakable for like a track focused front wheel drive, but we never want the onlookers to really see just how scary this thing can be. Now grills, I want another one of those grills. It doesn't lag this time. Only, I think I'm going to block it off since it's kind of useless. But I don't know actually. Isn't that where the radiator would get air? I think it is actually. I could add some chrome, but it seems against the nature of the D-chrome kind of nature of the car. You can kind of see the radiator through there. That is very annoying. Is that radiator or intercooler or whatever? I don't know. It's quite annoying there. Not too much I can do about it though. Thankfully it doesn't completely ruin the design. I mean, you just have to imagine that's black and it will work. But yeah, that's what we've got for now. I'm actually quite proud of the front of this. I've done a much better job than I could have. It's simple, it's understated, and it just works. Now the rear, I'm thinking of doing the same kind of thing as the front. I don't think I need massive tyres though, as long as I have all-wheel drive. These might actually work, these round lights. Would keep a kind of boxy car with round lights feel that I was going for. Can I rotate this? Maybe. No, I want to though. How does this look? Decent. Maybe if I go with a red and yellow to mean the indicators. Still need indicators on the front, I think. I'll have to think about that though. I'm not quite sure how I'll do it. Actually, I've had an idea for that. It may not be the greatest idea, and they're probably far too low to ever be legal. But if I have these little curvy lights... Nah, curves don't suit this. It's basically circles and rectangles. Because minimalism. There we go. Since I'm never going to need all that cooling, I can just block some of it off with the indicators. Looks a little worse than it would otherwise look, but we need to fit indicators somewhere, let's be honest. I mean, it's a very retro car. I'm not exactly with modern design. This is supposedly 2016 we're building this. But it's definitely one of my better design attempts. I don't think it's as bad as it could be. And I like it. Because, well, I've made a decent looking vehicle for once. Most of the time I make horrible looking ones, but this is okay. I know they go halfway into the bootleg, we'll just have to suppose the bootleg goes round them like such. Now, exhausts, again we have to do it subtly, so we can have some decently sized exhausts actually, but if they're hidden underneath the bumper, will anyone ever know they're there? Will anyone ever know how much pollution we're making? Okay, so that's the exhausts done. I think we'll go with a number plate. If we can ever find the number plates. I'm not going to put one on the front because if you look round here, there is a bumper there. That's where I would have it mounted, but you can't mount them on bumpers as you can see. Here though we can have the number plate mounted up there and it will look decent. Maybe a bit lower actually. Yeah. I'm not sure I like the tail lights on this. But it keeps the kind of circles and squares look I'm going for. I think if we go with some reverse lights next to them, it kind of mirrors the front and it might look a little better. There we go. Still a little crazy looking, but it works. Okay, so door handles. I think we need something fairly squarish. I love how much of a sleeper this is though. Like, if you don't know cars, you would just assume this is an old car that's been quite well looked after and you wouldn't bother stealing it. I know it's not much of an advantage, but it is an advantage, you know. And I mean, as long as it's got all the modern technologies and stuff, I'm sure there's kind of classic car fans that will love this, like classic looks with modern power. It's probably a niche audience, but there is an audience out there that would buy something like this. I mean, I would if I had the money for it. Now, colour. I don't know, I feel white actually. It sounds crazy because it kind of exposes all the car's problems, but Priuses are like white and they think they're saving the environment, so it would blend in with all them. This is a crazy colour. But actually now I realise how good darker colours look, so I'm thinking almost really dark black, but not quite. Kind of like that kind of colour. Still a little dark. I think kind of greyish black would work. Somewhere around here. There we go. But I don't know. It just feels too dark for me. Maybe we go for off-white kind of look. I think grey. That's the kind of colour I mean. Like it kind of blends in with traffic maybe. Well, we could go with silver. That's kind of silvery. Yeah, that'll do for now. Now we're going to have longitudinal all-wheel drive. With the engine type I'm going for, longitudinal should make it easier to work on, which is an advantage to me. And I need to find the engine. But I've named it inconspicuously, so I'll add that in a moment. Okay, so here we have the 2300 TSRS, as I've just called it, which stands for Turbo Sport, Race Sport, or whatever. I know, not the best name, but I just named it something I could find. Now it's a 2.3 litre, actually exactly 2.3 litre inline 4, designed to rev, but it has got a lot of turbo lag. I mean, the best hope we've got is keeping out of that turbo lag. We can perhaps advertise good economy if you keep out of the turbo lag, but it's apparently not getting many miles per gallon. Now you'll see it's running 44.10 psi. Could probably lower that a little, make the reliability higher without really having an effect on it. There we go. The economy is terrible on this, but it makes loads of power, which is what you want from a supercar, isn't it? There we go, now we're only running 42.19 psi, and I say only. That's still quite a lot. Now the exhaust. Wow, didn't realise that. I could pull a little more power through it. 604 horsepower. I believe the GT is 630, according to Forza at least it is. And this single turbo monstrosity is supposed to be a Ford GT. Although don't worry, I have a plan. Now, watch as the torque suddenly climbs and there's nothing before that point. Now, if we can use a decent all-wheel drive system, we can get it to go surprisingly quick, I think. It's not quick outright, though. It's quite a boxy car. Really, it's a super estate. But for lap time, we may still have a monster on our hands. 50-50 all-wheel drive. Sounds good to me, but I think I'll go 52 wear. Not enough to like truly mess it up, but it does give it a slight wear bias, which should help it around corners. We won't want the quality white up there. And we've forgotten something. Here we go. I think I want semi-slicks to keep this thing under control. Didn't need them on my other car, but then that was far more of a wide body, and it actually had wider rear tyres, but the same fronts, interestingly enough. Now we can't offset them anymore. Now we want it to be comfortable, and we want it to be kind of a sleeper, so any more than 16-inch wheels is just beginning to get ridiculous. What might an older 90s-ish car have for wheels? I'm not too sure. Something fairly simple, perhaps. Not those ones, they're too retro. I feel like they work, really. Kind of 90s style wheels, 15 inches. Could go with 14s. I mean, this is a fairly small car, smaller than I thought it would be. Small for something with this width tyres. I mean, they look crazy wide when you put it into perspective, but they're only 255s. They're not that crazy wide. Now make sure the quality is up. And again, we want to make sure we have carbon fibre wheels. Yes, they're expensive, but we want the very best here, because making sure this stops and goes round corners is what might save us from a terrible top speed. And yeah, the wheels aren't quite doing it, are they, for brakes? 16's about as far as I would push through before you can tell something's up, and it's obviously like a tuner with massive performance brakes and everything. Now, vented disc, 3 piston on the rear. We'll go with about 215. We don't need massive brakes. The front's doing the bulk of the work of slowing it down and keeping it stable. And we'll go with a fully clad undertray, I think. We won't optimise it for downforce, but we will make sure it's in the positive digits. For some reason we can't go with an active wing. Probably because we've not got a wing. How could I forget? We need a very nice wing on here. Let's see if we can see the engine actually. There we go. Inline 4 packed in there. No, not failed, just really crammed into the smallish front end. Now we need a wing. Where are we? There we go. Come on, load. I feel like this one might work. Yay, suitably crazy. Looks like some kind of touring car. Maybe it sticks up a little too much. I don't know. We have to rival a GT with our downforce, I guess. But it's not sleepery enough. We have to have a car that's quick without really looking quick. So I think we need generally quite a smallish wing. It should still make enough downforce for what I'm doing with this. Maybe move it back a little or something. Just make sure it fits on the boot lid. And that's going crazy slightly. There we go. A smallish wing, but should still make us enough downforce. Now we'll go through our engine. Where were we? There we go. Downforce, it's not a downforce under tray, so I'll just have to make sure these digits are quite high to make sure we're getting it. To have some downforce, and that's far too much cooling. I mean, you know, there's the radiator sticking out the front, which is unrealistic. I mean, as with the last car, there's enough space there, so there's not really an excuse to have that sticking out the front. And I'm on the wrong menu. I'm going to block off that grill. We just don't need the cooling. I mean, even if there is an intercooler there, we can just feed air from the main radiator, since there's so much going into the car. And this is actually an air-hungry engine we've got to feed, and we're easily making enough cooling for it. The brake airflow is excellent though, I'm happy about that. And all of that with that one grill, who would have thought, eh? Especially when there's a headlights covering it. And we can't go with an active wing still. Don't know why that is. Maybe it's just not a wing you can make active. We want 5 seats or 4. I think we'll go with handmade luxury stuff. We don't want to just beat the Ford. We want to beat it in class, if possible. This is going to be the highest quality Subaru Impreza estate ever. No, it's not an Impreza estate. They have boxer engines, closer to an Evo. Kind of like an Evo crossed from a 1970s Golf estate is probably the best way to describe it. Now, we want active comfort. Again, we want to beat it in style. We don't just win. We win in style. Test track, how much downforce? Too much wear downforce, not enough front. Maybe too much front even, actually. If I bring these numbers down, what do I get, I wonder? We just need positive downforce, though, to keep the thing on the road. Good, good. I think if we make the numbers really low, we should have some positive downforce, but not too much. And there we go. What's the weight balance, actually? That all factors into it. Wow. This is good. I said an estate would have better weight balance. 50.7 wear. So, our 4-cylinder turbocharged all-wheel drive beastie has wear bias weight distribution just like the Ford GT. And too little front, I think. Especially when it's wear biased for weight. I mean, I'm happy with this. The last vehicle I built had 55% front or something around there. That should do for aero. Oh no, I'm not convinced. A little more on the front, perhaps. And there we go. It's got 3 3 kilograms more on the wheel, which sounds about right. Should keep the wheel gripping. Make sure it doesn't slide everywhere. Okay, so I've had some problems with my beautiful car. As I was going to do, I adjusted a bunch of stuff here with the brakes. I've done nothing with the wheels, and I adjusted the gear ratio, so it gives me a 3.70 to 60 time. Yay! But there is one more thing that I wanted to add. Higher specific output. That's right. I've built a wonderful engine and I'm going to mess it up. I think we can do it with a 2.0 litre engine as opposed to a 2.3. And well, 1999, it's under 2 litres, okay? And we can go with 5 valves per cylinder. I think I was trying to reduce valve flow, but it didn't really work, did it? So we're going to make these minor changes and hopefully pull some power back out of the engine. We can actually bring the compression up. It's not really working how I want it to, though. Can we raise the RPM now we have a higher specific output? Well, it's running rich, but it seems we can raise the RPM until valve flow eventually comes on. 8600, that's okay. Is it valve floating? No, it's just running rich, is it? Yeah, if it was running lean, I'd be quite worried. There we go, we can make all this power, yay! Just adjust these two things. The turbos are the same as they were. Shouldn't make the biggest of differences. If I bring that white up there, but perhaps change this. There's got to be a jump somewhere where it just jumps up for power. I think we can still make almost 600 horsepower from this, but I'm not certain. And we're sure I was making more power than I am now, actually. There we go. Bring that back. Bring this down. $332. I'll adjust this and then I'll move on to a turbo since there's only so much you can do here. Ah, it's done that thing where it randomly messes with the radiator. That never helps. There we go. The power is finally coming. It's amazing how important the radiator is. It seems like the radiator might still have got slightly smaller or something. It's apparently boiling hot. With this much boost, that wouldn't be too surprising, but still. It's not ideal. We're making 500 horsepower. Nothing can rival me and my crazy specific outputs. Well, maybe a Ford RS200 or something, but not much can rival my crazy specific outputs. Now, if we adjust these turbos, we should be able to get a lot more power out of it just by making sure the turbo's not overheating massively. Or whatever it's doing there. What does it say it's doing? Restricting airflow. Water air medium. How about air to air large? That works better. It's strange how it does, but it sometimes works a lot better there. If I go for the air to air, but it's a bigger radiator at the same time. I'm making almost as much power as I was with a bigger engine. As I said, nothing can rival me and my specific output. I can actually bring that back, and then maybe if I mess with the turbos again. Yeah. It may be slightly reducing the power, but I can really bring the RPM the turbo kicks in back there. Okay, there we go. Oh my. The power. The crazy, crazy levels of power. Come on. Just try and readjust all these things. I need to somehow try and improve the power delivery. It's just got truly atrocious as it was. Seems the only way to really do that is use this thingy here. Right, I don't want it to kick in past about 5,000 RPM, then it really gets ridiculous and like the power might not even be usable by that point. Yep, seems if I bring it back a little here, then maybe adjust the compression or something. I don't know. It's making almost as much power as the actual Ford GT though. And really it's much smaller. Needs a massive exhaust. There we have the boost. Maybe I could make the PSI lower. Sometimes you can have a lower PSI and still pull crazy levels of power out of your engine. There we go, less pressure per square inch, but the way I'm using it perhaps. I don't know. Something crazy's going on. It's a very strange type of engine, this. What always surprises me is just how reliable it manages to be when I build an engine like this. Boost just seems to be the way to go. Like, I can get it to cut in earlier, but like it really cuts in when I'm running loads of boost. Interesting, it does push the power down with just too much PSI. Turbo probably can't handle it, so it breaks and starts leaking exhaust everywhere, or whatever they do. There we go, I've made the engine smaller, I've made the turbo lag more, and I've made more power. It's craziness, it really is. Can apparently make it more economical with a massive exhaust, so I will. You know, there's not really a downside other than cost, which isn't too ridiculous. It's still under $4,000. And I mean, you want to make 600 horsepower from a 4-cylinder engine, it's probably best to use good materials. You could make it for a lot cheaper, but I don't want to. There you'll see, 5,000 RPM, it really starts to come along, and I wanted 5,000 RPM, it struggles otherwise. It's like the Covet Gymkhana in Beam engine, it's just too much power. It was never supposed to make that much. I can bring this back a little. Maybe 194, I like the space. 3.6. I think I've very, very slightly made it quicker. Not by very much, but I made it very slightly quicker. I'd think the engine would be lighter, but I'm not sure by any means of that. 183 miles per hour top speed. I would rather have more. That's not going to really challenge a Ford GT. But you have to take into account the luxury, I guess. And yeah, I've saved what looks like about 40 kilograms from it. That's a lot for what's only 300 cc's of capacity. So we've got 625 horsepower from a 2 litre inline 4. And now we can take it to a test track and see just how much lag gets in the way. Whoa, let's just see, just look how it's going through the weather range though. I mean, the turbo lag above 5,000 RPM doesn't really exist. And that's where the driver's keeping it. So now, all you'll hear really is turbo noise. The underlying inline 4 sound, if there was any, would just be filtered out. It will all be turbo now. I mean, look at how quickly it moves from 50 to 75 miles per hour though. That's evidence, I guess, of how quick it can be if you're not struggling with turbo lag. Also, I have more rear weight, so I've definitely saved the weight off the engine here, which could always be handy. Now, I need to find the leaderboard, which is conveniently on this phone. Last time, when it failed, but that last time it had a bigger engine with less specific output. So, let's see what time we're going to get. Looks like it may be slower than before. I don't know, did a 1 minute 18 before, I think. No, quicker, I think. Or about the same. Either way, the engine hasn't really held it back in the way I feared, having that bit more lag might. So, the aerial atom V8 set at 115.1. This set at 117.64. Yeah, it still amazes me really. It's about the same as a Koenigsegg CCX with the Top Gear spoiler. And just edges into that bracket really. It only gives me that first digit on the Top Gear website, so I'll have to assume it's exactly the same time. I mean, it's probably 0.63 in the Koenigsegg or something, but it's very, very close. And it came above a Noble M600. We beat a British supercar, yay! A Pagani Zonda F Roadster, a Caterham R500, the standard Bugatti Veyron, not the Super Sport, the Pagani Zonda F, which is slower than the convertible for some reason. It came above a Maserati MC12 though, and a Ferrari Enzo, both cars that are more powerful and lighter, but that is the power of our all-wheel drive system. Beat a Ferrari GTO. I think that's 599 GTO. Lamborghini LP640, Porsche Carrera GT. That's actually less powerful, but lighter, I think. So, a very, very impressive vehicle I've built here for what it is. It's just the 0 to 60 time is not great. I mean, my other vehicle I built, which wasn't a 4-seater mind, did it in 3.0 seconds or something to 60, because with less weight to haul, the turbo lag is less of a hindrance, it gets in the way less. But I just like this, it's like a sleeper, almost like a factory sleeper, just looking at it. Looks kind of like a Yugo actually now I think of it, but like one of those cool modified Yugos, not the basic unreliable ones. So, there we go. It's probably the fastest 1.8 ton estate on the market. We're charging plus 5% on the base price, which is 138,800, I think. It comes up as a luxury superior car, which sounds about right. It's apparently very competitive for price there, 97.4%, you know. But you don't buy it because you want, like, a luxury supercar. You buy it because you want a sleeper that, without any modification from the factory, will beat everything else. Like, you can just say this is a, whatever we call it, like, Bob Jim, yeah, Bob Jim Comfortable Estate. I mean, I know it sounds like the most cheesy name ever, but my mind isn't working right now, so I can't come up with a decent name. So you just assume this is like a Bob Jim Comfortable Estate, like luxury estate car, and then you'll realise when it's drag racing you that it actually has a crazy turbocharged inline 4 engine, and your V8 M3 or whatever doesn't stand a chance. True supercars like the Ford GT could probably beat it just because they don't have stupid turbo lag. But it could beat a lot of cars in a drag race. Moreover, it could beat a lot of cars round a corner, which is important. It's kind of competitive as a hypercar. Not as much as I perhaps should have made it, but it's an estate car. What can you expect? I've done what I can, I think. It looks like in Gazmia, our car is the most competitive as a luxury superior. How much do we have to chop off the price to make it 100% competitive? It gets close, like, I mean, we're making a 44% loss there. Yeah, that makes sense actually though. You cheapen it so much that it just loses competitiveness in the class. It's like the Bentley SUV. If they made that too cheap, I'm pretty sure no one would want it, because people would say it loses the class. I mean, as with most of sports cars, they're also used to promote the lower grade vehicles like the Ford GT, so we might not be making a profit significantly on this car, but it will help sell the rest of the range, and that will make a profit for us. We've got a 62,776 material cost apparently, and just to end with, I'll let you hear the wonderful turbo whistle of the engine. Okay, so after that, I'll have to just let you see my state one last time, and then I'll say goodbye until another day.